guys, it's Samantha, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to be filming my August wrap up. I managed to read 4 books in August and I listened to 1 audiobook as well. So I'm just going to go through them, tell you what they're about and give you like a little review type thing. So the first book I read in August was All of This Is True by Lega de Pennaflor. I really enjoyed this book. It's about a group of 4 teenagers who befriend their favourite author Fatima Rowe, and it just kind of follows their journey with her. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away, so I don't want to tell you too much about it. But yeah, it's basically them just explaining their time with her, and yeah, that's about it. It flips back and forth between present and past, because you know right from the outset that something has happened to Jonah, which is one of the friends. So that's why they're kind of talking about their time with Fatima Rowe. It's just the lead up to what happened to Jonah, and it just kind of, yeah, flips between the two. So because it flips between the two, it's laid out in journal entries and interviews and story excerpts. And I really liked that layout. I felt like it was quite interesting. It's not something you see a lot. And yeah, it also meant that it was a really quick read, which I liked. It was quite easy to get through, so yeah, that was good. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars because it's not the best book I've read, but it still was really enjoyable, and something I recommend. I got it in my Book Box Club subscription box, and if it hadn't been for that I probably wouldn't have picked it up, but I'm so glad I read it because I did actually really enjoy it, and I fully recommend that you read it. So yeah, book 1 done. The second book I read in August is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, and I don't actually have the book on me at the moment because my boyfriend's borrowing it, but if I can I'll try and insert like a picture here. But yeah, I don't have it on me unfortunately. But yeah, I loved this book so much. It was absolutely amazing. It follows Eleanor, who is very lonely. She doesn't really have any friends and she only speaks to her mum once a week on a Wednesday night. And other than that, you know, she just works and then goes home, and that's about it. So she's very lonely and kind of suffering from depression as a result. And the book just follows her starting to make friends and immersing herself in the world, and I loved it. It was so good. There was points where the story was quite sad, but she balanced it out so well with humour. More of the book was funny than sad, and I really loved that about it. There were times where I was sat reading the book and I would be like, oh my god, I thought that exact same thought, and it would just be something really sarky about like humanity or something like that, and like why people do things. I'd be like, oh my god, I thought the same thing. And I think that's partly why I loved it so much, is because I could relate to it, and oh, it was precious. It's a little gem, and Eleanor is just the best character I've ever come across. I love her so much. And this book gave me so many feelings that when I was finished I just closed over and just had to sit there and process, because I was just in awe of how much I love this book. So yeah, I would fully recommend you check it out. It is absolutely amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and definitely the best book I read in a long time. So yeah, definitely recommend you check that out. So the third book I then read in August is As Old as Time, A Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell. And I just want to stop for a minute and appreciate how pretty this cover is. Minus like my finger marks, but you know. Yeah, I just, oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, I love it. Even the back's kind of pretty as well. But yeah, it's just a shame the story inside isn't as good as the cover. To be honest, this book wasn't the best. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I had issues with it. So if you don't know, it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and I loved the retelling, I really did. You got to see more of Maurice and his wife, or Belle's mother, before they had Belle, and kind of that whole backstory, and that part I really enjoyed, I really did. However, the issue I have with this book is that it copies a lot from the film, and when I say that, I don't mean with storyline, because, you know, it's the same story, but that's fine. But my issue is that a lot of it seems to be worded almost exactly as the movie, and I took issue with that. I felt like they could have reworded bits instead of pretty much copying it, and it just irked me a bit. I was sat there reading and I'd come across a bit that was worded like exactly the same, and it just kind of took me out of the book and made me just gonna go, ugh, right, okay, again, fine. So that was my issue with it, and I think that really ruined it for me. If they had reworded it, I think I probably would have really loved this book. But unfortunately I don't. I'd maybe give it a 2 out of 5. Yeah, it's not awful, it's a quick read. And if you like retellings, then pick it up. But yeah, not the best, unfortunately. So the fourth and final book that I actually read in August is This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. I really enjoyed this book. It's about, well, it's the journal entries from a junior doctor in the NHS. And for those of you who don't know, NHS is the National Health Service in Britain, and it's written by an actual doctor, and it's his actual journal entries, and I really enjoyed it. It really gave me an eye-opener to the NHS and the amount of work doctors have to put in. Like, obviously, you know, I know doctors work a lot, but you don't register just how much and how much of an impact it makes in their day-to-day lives and their relationships, and I really liked that it gave you a good eye-opener on that. And I also really enjoyed it because it was so funny. There were points where I was reading this and I was just sat here giggling away to myself, and I loved it, I really did. The doctor is a bit sarcastic, which is my kind of humour, so I think that's why I liked it, but yeah, it just, oh, it's so good. I just loved it so much. There was so many funny points, and you know, there's just some of the stories, you're just sat there reading it and you're thinking, right, I feel like I shouldn't be reading this. Like, it, you know, it kind of, he goes into, for example, patients who are clearly sticking things up themselves and getting them stuck and having to come into A&E and certain objects and all that. And there's just one particular story to do with that just, it's like mentally scarring, but it's funny at the same time, and I really liked it. So yeah, I'd fully recommend you read this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars just because I don't think I loved it as much as Eleanor Oliphant or other 5-star books, but it was very good, so fully recommend. And then the final book of August is the audiobook I listened to, and that is Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. And I really enjoyed this book. It's her autobiography, so it's written by her and also read by her, and I think that made it so much better that it was read by her. Yeah, I just really like Anna Kendrick. I think she's a really good actress, and she's funny, and you know, quite sarky, and yeah, just quite cool, so I really like her. And I decided to pick the book up after ages of wanting to read it. I think as soon as I realised it had come out, I wanted to read it, and that was, what, a good couple of years ago now? So I was really excited to finally listen to it, and I really enjoyed it. You know, you get to learn a lot more about why she is where she is, and you know, how she got there, and how she feels about it all, and just what was going on in her life at certain times, like, you know, during Pitch Perfect, what was going on during her life then and things like that. And I really enjoyed that. You know, I really liked getting to know more about her life and stuff, so I really enjoyed it. It was a really quick listen, and it was quite funny as well, so yeah, definitely recommend that. I listened to it on Scribd. I believe they also have it on Audible as well, so if you want to listen to it, give it a shot. So yeah, that is us. That's my August wrap up. I am going to be putting out my September TBR in a couple of days. I think I'm a bit ambitious for September, considering I'm starting uni next week, but we're gonna give it a go. So I'm away to film that just now, and yeah, I hope you stay tuned. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you for watching. Bye!